guys, what's up and welcome to another chapter 1 book review. Today this is a bit of a different format because this was a library book that I read some time ago, approximately about 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't going to review it at the time, so I thought this book was pretty interesting, and I just decided to review it now. There will be a different review next week about a different book, but this is just keep in mind that I haven't read this in 2 weeks. I did do a little bit of catch up before this session, and so I do get a pretty good overall sense of it, but keep in mind this is from 2 weeks ago. So let's just get right into it. This book, the format is not really, there's no main character in the book. They actually tell it from the perspective of a narrator somewhat. So there's no main person told from their perspective, but we know that there are 4 characters in the book, but most of it is focused on 3 of them: Jonathan, Lupus, and Flavia, and they are on a roam. They're detectives, and they're like kids though, so they're not like they don't have swords and stuff like that, ching ching, all that stuff. They're just kids, but they're also detectives. And the ship that they're on, it gets shipwrecked on their way back to Rome. And so when they make it to the shore, they find out they're in Alexandria, named after Alexander the Great. He named a lot of cities Alexandria. Just a brief historical fact that I want to put in, but he did name a lot of cities Alexandria. But anyway, they're in Alexandria. But their friend Nubia, which is the other character, so you can see their faces sort of here. Not really. This person is Flavia. This is Jonathan. This is Lupus. This is Nubia. And so Nubia actually gets lost and they don't know where she is. So basically they have to go on this quest or journey to find out where she is. And keep in mind that this is also non-spoiler, so I will not tell you what happened in the end. But on their way, they work with a scribe named Seth. Actually, the book is called The Scribes from Alexandria. So the scribe's name is Seth, and he plays a pretty big part. He's a bit like conservative. He's not like, he's born and raised in the city, so he doesn't really, he hasn't been outside the city, and it's an interesting mix of characters, that's for sure. Like, Lupus is very adventurous and he wants to go there and there. And then Jonathan is like, more like, brains. And he's like, nah, what's the chance that we're gonna get eaten here and all that. And Flavia is just, I don't know, very energetic, I guess you could say. And Seth is very, he's like, we shouldn't go there, that's a bad idea, all that. So it's definitely an interesting mix of characters in the book. What I like and dislike, I'm just going to put this book down. What I like and what I dislike about this book. What I like, well, definitely keeps you guessing because the ending was very surprising. I could not predict what had happened in the end. But in overall, there's always, because it's formed in the format of a riddle. So everywhere they go, they see a riddle. However, to me, the riddle part wasn't so interesting because, first of all, the riddles were sort of like pretty easy to understand, and compared to the ending, in contrast to the ending, I sort of felt like that wasn't really a good way to compliment or just like go with the ending, which is, as I said, very surprising. I won't tell you, but they just don't really match, I find. I don't know why, but this just personally, for me, I don't like that. The riddle challenge, maybe if they did, for example, they left tracks, for example, or they had to go through a more action-oriented process of finding it, because the book is very heavily action-focused, and there's a lot of action, but the action is not in the part where there's supposed to be action. It's in parts where they just stop in town to get food. That's where the action is. So it's sort of a bit mashed up in a process that I don't really like. But overall, it's a fast-paced book, that's for sure. I finished this in about a day, so it's reasonably short book, and I do like the character development somewhat because the characters do seem very humane. I would say though they probably need some more flaws because they feel. I don't blame the author. A lot of books nowadays feel like the characters like doesn't have any flaws, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I prefer books that the characters, I think they seem more realistic if they have flaws. But it's not a major problem. It's just it would be more better for me personally if the characters had flaws. But like it doesn't matter that much. So in general, it's a pretty interesting book, though. Another thing that I wasn't exactly happy about this book is whenever they need something, it just appears. They need a boat to go on the Nile. Oh, okay, Seth's cousin is a sailor. When they need food, there's a city 5 miles away. And then, when they need horses. Wow, there's a horse seller right beside him trying to sell their horses to them. So this is, in my opinion, sort of a lame way to... if I'm going to be direct to you, it's a lame way to tell the story because I prefer ways where they have to work and like do a lot of things to get like food, water, shelter. For example, boat, maybe they had to steal it from a famous pirate, or that's just another idea. But like, you know what I mean when I say they have to work for it. They got to work for whatever that's coming next. They got to. Because in this story, every time they need something, it just appears out of nowhere. And I don't really like that. I like they have to, they have to figure out, they have to use their head. They gotta steal, they gotta even steal a boat from a pirate. They gotta find storages. They gotta negotiate with the owner. So that's one thing that I thought it was something that they could do better in this book was probably I think that they should have made it harder for them to get things like food, water, shelter, like the examples I gave you. But overall, it's a decent book, and I guess, I would recommend it because there's some names that you have to search up, like Alexandria, some of the temples there. I had to do a little bit of research on that. But overall, I think it's definitely a fun book. I would give it 4. I'd give it 4 out of 5 as my rating. Let me know what you think about the book. If you if you have read it. If you haven't read it, I do encourage you to do so, and please tell me your thoughts on it. As usual, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And again, thanks for watching Chapter 1.